So I hope you'll take advantage of it. We're certainly going to take advantage of every minute we spend with you. We know your time is valuable, and this is time away from your businesses, so we're going to make sure that when you leave here, you're enchanted by your experience and want to come back for sure. You know, I've been traveling quite a bit recently. I just got back from Anaheim, left there, went right to Russia, and then came over to Cancun. So I think I'm getting a little smarter about my travel choices, because Russia and Cancun are not quite the same environment, especially in November. But although I looked outside today, it's actually nicer in Sochi than it is here. But each one of the destinations that I've been to had a different purpose, obviously, but all three of them, though, were punctuated by the same theme: the importance of growth, the importance of growing the business in all aspects of what we do. So as I speak to you today about our business transformation, I want you to keep in mind that the quest for a healthy business and healthy business growth is really the main attribute of our entire strategy. And what I've been asked to do is to walk you through, go back a little bit in history, do a little bit of dialogue about how we've managed our business through the last several years, but more importantly, how we've attained the status that we have now in business transformation, and the Avaya that we have in front of you today. What does that look like, and why are we better, stronger, faster than ever before? But maybe to digress for a minute before I get into too much of the presentation, I've met a lot of you over the years, but there's a lot of you that haven't met me before, so I thought I'd introduce myself and give you a chance to know a little bit of who I am. Obviously, I was in that little video up front there. That was done for our global sales conference, and the team decided to make fun of me and put me on skates with a bunch of 22-year-olds, which was a lot of fun. But I walked off there, and they were all, "Hey, let's go have a beer." No, I got to go see my chiropractor. But it was a lot of fun. I am Canadian, so I speak both those languages that were up there. Thank you. I was in Montreal. I'm a salesman at heart, so there's a lot of different attributes to this role, but I think being and understanding our customers and having everything be focused on the customers, for me, the customer's at the center of everything. I'm a very, very big sports enthusiast. You can see through this picture here, and especially hockey. On my trip to Russia, I made my way from Moscow up to Sochi and went to visit the Olympics. I'll talk about that in a little bit and our participation there and what it is. But very impressive, if you do get a chance to be out there in February, very impressive layout. That picture there is taken on Coach Babcock of the Canadian team, watching my team win the gold medal once more. But a great venue. It's going to be a fantastic area for us to show our wares and to show our technology development as we're watching these world-class athletes go through it. And then at the top there, no, that's not my jet. Don't have a jet. But I'm a private pilot, and I do aspire to fly that one day. And as my team was putting together some of these slides, they thought, you know, we'll put an aspiration goal for them up on that slide and present it through. But speaking of planes, you know, I know all of us, probably, at least most of us, have taken a plane to get here today, right? And so as I get back to business transformation, and I talk about this journey in business transformation from us, I wanted to use the airline industry as a backdrop to kind of kick this off. So I thought pretty opportunistic that there'd be a jet in my little introduction picture. When you think about the airline industry, you think about safety, and you think about consistency, right? Those are the attributes that an airline strives for. Without that, there's not much chance that you'd ever get on a plane if you felt that they were haphazard about the safety aspects of it. So they focus and train for safety. Everything they do is focused on the safe ride, the safety of the passengers. When you're on the plane, somebody sits in front, tells you where the exits are, tells you where the mask is, tells you where a little thing underneath that will be floating in the ocean with is. And they focus on safety. They focus on the destination, right? For the airline industry, destination matters. So every pilot files a flight plan. And that flight plan makes sure that whatever they need to do to move around weather, they'll get to that destination. The destination pulls their journey. And through safety, they use things small checklists. So when your pilot checklist means I do my pre-flight check, I check all my instruments. When you're watching from the plane, you see them walking underneath the wings, and you see them looking at the different components of the plane, making sure everything's safe, that the flaps work, that everything's there. Their journey is mechanized, right? They want to make sure and guarantee safety through that mechanization. And the mechanics are what make you win. Our mechanics, our sales mechanics, have resulted in product improvements, and they've resulted in streamlining our business. And it's made a very healthy and strong Avaya. I'm going to walk you through some of those numbers today and what we are and what we've become. But that's, I guess, the biggest takeaway that I want to leave you with today. And we're going to do our very best to show you all our wares, our products, our technology, our go-to-market strategy, how we want to be better partners to you as your partners with us. It's all about being healthy. It's about being in a position to collaborate and win in a much more effective way. Okay, so I'm done digressing. So let me transition to the topic at hand and really start with our last fiscal year in terms of a backdrop. You know, our fiscal year 13 that ended at the end of September, a bit of a bumpy ride, but really we exited with great things. I came into this role about halfway through, and luckily the last 2 quarters were very, very strong. Particularly our Q4, and even though we're in the silent period through the next few weeks, you'll see, and I will share some data with you, but you'll see a lot more data on how strong that particular quarter was. We ended with a top-tier business model. And I'm going to talk about that. What is a top-tier business model? EBITDA in the 24-25% range, right? When you look at that, only 2 out of the 12 pure-play competitors that play in our industry, in our specific space, have EBITDAs over 24. Only 2 out of 12. We've regained the #1 position in the number of lines shipped in Q2. Okay, overtaken Cisco. That's not insignificant. And to us, it wasn't surprising. We know what we're doing. We know how we're doing it. Our job here now is to make sure that you know how we're doing it, and how we're doing it for you and with you, and how we're driving that performance. In fact, you're the ones who drove it. So I want to make sure that we go over that correctly, and then we're going to spend some time on that over the next few days. In FY13, we won several awards. I thought I'd illustrate a few of them here. The Edison Award is really an award based on innovation in collaboration and communications. And we've won our 3rd Edison Award. We've won and been recognized as a top innovator from Thomson Reuters, and this is the 2nd time they've recognized us in this again. And again, recognition on innovation, number of patents, how are you developing the business, not just acquiring it, and how are you growing organically to be a much, much stronger collaboration partner, collaboration provider out there for our customers. And then vertical recognition, and I picked one in specific around the Avaya government solutions in cybersecurity. Everybody thinks about security, nobody more than the government. And being recognized as the Organization of the Year by the ISA International as a vertical play was one that I really wanted to highlight again as a key accomplishment. So a lot of really good things happening through FY13, a lot of good things happening through the latter half, and really a year that we're proud of. And we're very proud of the development and where we've come from as we exit and enter into this fiscal year. You know, as I kind of look into FY14, this year we're in, and everything that we're going to talk about over the next few days, you know, I thought I'd take you on the journey of transformation at Avaya, going back about to 2009. Now, we privatized in 2007, but from about 2009 onwards, really is where a lot of the shifts and changes have occurred within the company, and where we've become where we are today. So 2009, why did I pick that year to start from? That was a recession, right? It was one of the toughest years in many in terms of businesses, very tough recession, a recession that shrunk our industry by 20 to 40% in terms of the players, in terms of the revenue, in terms of the spend. And in that process, what we were all about and what the companies that survived were all about was preserving cash. And we did that through our strategy. And as we emerged from this crisis in 2011, We initiated the change towards our growth strategy that really have taken us to where we are now in the growth years. Now, if you go back prior to privatization, I don't want to take you back into the ice age, but if you take you back prior to when we turned private as a company, our EBITDA was about 8%. Profits for this company came from about 200 customers worldwide, although we had thousands of customers. About 200 of them generated all our profit. And those were primarily government, pharmaceuticals, and banks. And as you know, from 2009 onwards, those entities merged and dropped a lot of their employees and consolidated their operations. Now, when you're a buns and seat type of company, that's not a good thing. That reduces the amount of users, the amount of agents, the amount of employees that are going to buy and use collaboration tools, and obviously it takes you down in terms of revenue. So not a good thing from a performance standpoint, certainly not what we wanted to see happen. But as you move forward over this timeline through 2011, 2012, 2013, and you look at the changes we've done of managing work to managing the business, really this is the first moment in time where we can stand tall, show you performance from not just a sales perspective, but from all aspects of our financials, and rival with any company on a worldwide basis. In fact, regain a lot of the top positions. Our on-time shipments are in the order of 95% today. Our operating income is somewhere in the 21 to 22%. These are great numbers for any business. Forget a business in IT, specific in collaboration. So the challenge for us really is moving from managing the business where you benchmark the industry, where you look at those benchmarks and gauge yourself, to much more of a business where you become the benchmark in the industry. And that's where we thrive to go, that's what we become. We really are moving and have moved into serial winning. Repetitive winning. Winning on a consistent basis. With the people and the products, the partners, the structures, and the segments to support that. So let me walk you through that one. So I want to move from qualitative to quantitative and just show you some data. Now, I'll take a bunch of notes, but what we've done really, and I've talked about the airplanes, we've mechanized the variables. Right? This is our checklist. This is our aircraft, and this is our checklist. This is how you gauge how top line is drawing you, and if you're doing things correctly so that you can invest, so that you can be healthy enough so that you can invest in your partners, in your products, and your solutions, and drive world-class performance in that, all aspects of it. In our last quarter, in fact, not even on this chart, we showed a gross margin that eclipsed Cisco. Not a bad feat. I think it's quite an accomplishment. And certainly not one that they're very happy about, but it just shows you performance in looking at the mechanics and driving the mechanics, driven by growth, what a difference it can make in your business. And that ability to drive higher gross margins in our business is one that's permitted us to drive much more innovation in our product cycles. You'll see from Brett and others when they're talking how we've innovated, how we've changed, how we're driving the market. People like Tor Chenchart, who drives our UC application strategy and development and innovations and awareness and a lot of different things that are not following the market but are in fact getting in front of the market and driving the performance that others are now trying to follow in innovation of solution sets. So quite an accomplishment. From a productivity standpoint, if you look at way back again, in the Lucent days, productivity was about $125,000 per head per employee. We're at $330,000 per head. Those are numbers that are driven by software and services organizations. That's the kind of software and services company that we wanted to become. This is the numbers they drive. Well, guess what? We've become what we thought we wanted to be. And I'll show you that, and I think you'll get that. If you leave here at the end of the week, and you understand that strategy, and you understand that go-to-market play, and why a lot of things that we're doing are driven through that, I think we'll all be more successful. Now, last thing I wanted to point out on here is Net Promoter Score. And you see it's at 41. We started measuring Net Promoter Score about 2 years ago. Net Promoter Score is a measure of customer loyalty and referral behavior. It's a very different attribute from just measuring standard customer sat, which we do. But a Net Promoter Score is something that you hear when when you have a CIO talking to a CEO. The CEO wants to understand Net Promoter Score. He wants to understand retention rates on his customers. He doesn't want to hear about how are my contact centers doing and how's my software doing. It's all about outcomes. Right? It's not just about the software and the technology that makes it. It's how those outcomes drive value for your customer, retention from those customers, and hence they drive more customers to you. So when you look at my checklist, everything's up. And that's really the message I wanted to leave with you today. We've driven in our transformation this company to a space that is dramatically different than where we were 5 years ago. And we've done it in a way that now permits us to invest, to drive quality in our product sets, to drive quality in our solutions and our services, and to be a much better partner to all of you. And that's really our focus, and that's our desire, and that's what you're going to see through the next several days for all the presentations, how this capacity to invest is driving higher quality, more innovation in solutions, and more capabilities for you to sell, to be successful out into the market. So as I look through this checklist, one of the words that my boss uses a lot is change. And Kevin talks about the dimensions of change and how are we changing and what are we transforming and how are we moving across the line. So what are the dimensions of our change? And I try to put it across some of the questions that come up. What, why, and how we're doing things. So why are we doing this? Well, we needed to move from a traditional voice company to a company that deals with multi-channel, multimedia, all the realities of BYOD. A world where applications are absorbing voice, no longer about the desk phone, the dedicated desk phone. It's about adapting to the applications that every user wants to bring into the collaboration world and how you enable those onto a platform of their choice. Applications absorbing voice. It's about a world where the primary asset is the call control, not the end device. And leveraging the call control and the flexibility and strength and power of that call control into the solution set is where the success will lie. And it's about turning to a world of policy. So those are not trivial transformations to make for anybody, believe me. But certainly ones that we've engaged in and that are a large part of our business transformation in support of your solutions out in the market. So how do we do that? Well, we moved from a phone environment, dedicated phone on everybody's desk, to one really of BYOD, across voice, across video, enabling that out into the market in a very, very, very aligned way to where the market wants to be. Not just buying phones, but lighting up the soft phones, the video, mobile, and capabilities from an application standpoint to map to BY your own application, not just your own device. We moved from call center to experience center. And you'll hear a lot about that when you see the different presenters coming up here talking about call center technology, how awareness and how technologies create a different experience and a different value proposition than the traditional call centers in the past. And really how we did it is by becoming customer-centric. I told you one of the attributes that I'm proud of when I talk about what makes me tick is that everything starts from the customer. Customer's at the center of everything you do. Let the customer pull you into the game. We talk about the flight plan. You see the analogy of really pulling, destination pulls the journey. Customer is our destination. The endpoint and quality service to that customer pulls us into a successful model. And so when you think of what we become through that dimension of change, we move from one large pool of customers to multiple markets. From a centric enterprise view to a multi-segment view. And we need more channel partners, and stronger channel partners, from very diverse segments to be successful in that space. And that's one of the asks of you. Diversify, go across the segmentation, and leverage the solutions that we're bringing to market across all the segments, aligned to the route to market specific to the customer that we're dealing with. move from a product-centric and support-centric model to one of delivery of outcomes. And the outcomes are valued to your customer. No more product and services, solutions and outcomes. It's easy to say, but I'm going to talk about how we do that and how we adapt our solution sets to the attributes that qualify as success for a customer. Move to Net Promoter Score discussion. Probably the biggest change for a lot of us here. Understanding how our customers measure success in their own terms. And I think Net Promoter Score really is one of those battles. So a lot of transformation, and we've certainly done it. You'll see it over the next few days. You'll see it through every presenter. You'll have a chance to understand all the components in the business and what's changed, what's moved, and how have we adapted this to a customer-centric model, to a model where the realities of the market driven by the customer and by the users are really what dictate what we bring to market and how we bring it to market. For every phone we sell today, we light up 4 or 5 soft phones. To get to where we are today, we have to change 14 or 15 parts of our business. We have to dramatically change and transform all aspects of our business. And we've done that through a move to California from a head office perspective, renewal of a lot of people. The press has been tough on us at times in talking about how much renewal there has been, but that renewal is necessary, bringing people in that match to the attributes of what I have on this slide. Not the people who live in the past and still strive to drive services and telephony and components that our customers really don't want to buy anymore. So as we think about our past success, and our performance, we really don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right? We're a great company, Avaya, and you're a great set of partners against that. We have 97% of the fastest growing companies in the world are our clients. We've got the largest contact centers. We've got the largest base of VCs. But we also have very small. We have companies that play in the Fortune 1000. We have companies that play in businesses that we deal with every day. We wouldn't necessarily view it as very critical, but mass as a segment, we're able to drive a lot of performance through it. We are and have become a great company with great market share. Our competitors would love you and our customers to forget it, but don't. Just look at who already has Avaya solutions implemented today. Pretty impressive list of organizations when you look at industry vertical by industry vertical. The world's top airlines. I flew over here and I was having some fun with a few people that I was traveling with, showing them some of the new attributes of the click-to-chat web enablement, click-to-chat, click-to-call support services for some of the reorganization that we were doing as we were transiting between flights. But 9 out of 10 airlines are using our solution sets on UC and on CC and driving their business to a very different space, focused on customer sat. If you sat in, I flew in on United. United have a big segue when you come in talking about it's all about the customer, and we are customer-centric and customer-focused. They do it with tools powered by Avaya. 9 out of 10 financial institutions, 9 out of 10 luxury hotels, some pretty magnificent ones too, that are driving not just a replacement of one phone for another phone in a room, but the application of technology in UC, contact centers, web centers, using ways to book clients, manage clients, do concierge service at a distance, leveraging a lot of the technology in a very different way, leveraging BYOD to enable a lot of applications that we wouldn't have thought possible just a few years ago. Using your iPhone as you check in to become your key, open your door, access to your television, check out, do all the things that you'd like to do in the application world that you've chosen, not the one that they've chosen. And then 8 out of 10 auto manufacturers, and we have our way to 10 out of 10 pieces. So a lot of customers, thousands of them, that only ask that we continue our partnerships and our investments with them, with their other partners and software players, and focus on their success, focus on their outcomes. I'm using that word a lot, but really everything that I drive through my team is focused on the customer, focused on the outcomes to that customer. And if they can't tell me the attributes of what we're trying to represent, trying to sell into that customer base, focused in value, defined in customers' terms, then they're not doing the right thing. And that is the basis for a lot of our transformation, and I think the basis for a lot of our success in recent times. So clearly the present is just not another moment in time, it's our moment in time. We're now the 5th largest infrastructure software company in the world. Most people don't know that. Well, now you do. What does that mean? Software infrastructure. Right? It means that you're playing in a very different game from the product-centric, hardware-centric players that a lot of our customers are used to today. Margins, different enablement, some recurring revenues, a different business model, one that's much more adapted to today's application, BYOD, social networking, attributes of mobility, right? The things our customers want to buy. They want to buy them from software infrastructure, application-centric organization. And that's what we are, right? All together. And I talked about when I took to Russia a little bit, let me tell you a little bit about Sochi. We're very, very proud. This is our 3rd Olympics that we've been selected to provide the infrastructure. So we're the official network and collaboration infrastructure provider to the Sochi Olympics. So for us, that's a great feat. Walk out the competition and show what you can do. This is the biggest lab, right? The biggest concentrated concentration of technology and applications in a world that is televised to billions of people, right? And that thousands of people, millions of people participate through and travel through. This is the first BYOD Olympics. That's how they're calling it. It's the first IP video Olympics. And we like to say the first social Olympics. Now, if I talk about the infrastructure in Sochi, and I know Brett's going to go into detail with it, but think of 100,000 data ports. Think of 50,000 phones, 3,000 access points, every piece of software we've ever built, all put into, managed through three big data centers across an infrastructure that's very fragile. When I was there last week, there were 4 different instances where somebody was digging and ripped up the cables, both for power or for connectivity to the data centers, and just knocked out every hotel, everything going through it. That's the environment you live with when you're dealing with an Olympics in that size and scale of development. And Russia's not any different than any of the others. They're scrambling, and they'll be polishing and cleaning brass at the last minute before people come in. But it's a fantastic venue. But when you talk about social Olympics, when you talk about the attributes of it, nobody really cares that there's 100,000 data points or whatever. What they care about is that about 50 to 55,000 people will be rotating through there. With the enablement of a true IP environment in Sochi, they're going to be using 3 to 4 different devices, right? Count how many devices you have that you would use, your iPad, your phone, or your Android phone. You're using your laptop, you're using a camera with capabilities to transmit. And you'll be going to Twitter, you'll be posting things to Facebook every second, you'll be putting petabytes of data across that network over a wireless infrastructure, transferring and connecting and doing video, and there'll be video displays. That's the environment that we're in today. And that's what Sochi's parachuted us into it. And the company selected to do it is Avaya. So we're very proud of that, and I think it's one of the things that, that in my early days here at Avaya, I'm the most proud of. Okay, so let's pause for a second and go back to a few months ago when I started in this journey, and I'll just give you a little bit of the developments that are a little more current. If you look 6 months ago, we had 3 operating theaters: U.S., or Americas, Asia Pacific, and Europe. We had a set of widely distributed resources, every theater kind of doing their own show. So if you're a partner and you're dealing with Avaya in Brazil, dealing with Avaya in the United States somewhere, or in Europe, you have different experiences, different support model, different quality of SEs, different channel experiences, different distribution experiences. So we've worked to change that. Our operations were complex. Doing business with Avaya was complicated. Doing business with Avaya was hard, especially as we went down segment, hard to order, hard to bundle, hard to structure. I've heard it, I've traveled, I've done hundreds of meetings with partners, with customers. I hear it, I saw it. This was 6 months ago, not very far away. We have things in place, but this is already what was going through. This is what's going through a lot of their minds, I guess. So we had a very enterprise-centric focus. We viewed everything as an enterprise. You're an enterprise model. Everything looks the same. It's kind of, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if you're an Avaya, everything looks like an enterprise customer, you drive to it. And what we've done is work to segment pretty dramatically our customer base. We started by segmenting our operating theaters into 6, recognizing and building an operating theater on our emerging markets, bringing together some of the faster growing markets in the world and putting resources on them that match to that growth. Recognizing more mature markets in the EU, European Union, or in the United States, and how you attribute, how you drive those, and how you manage that. And then segmenting much more heavily, not just across our product line, but our people, our support models, our SEs, and doing that through what I call global centers of excellence, where we brought together all of our SEs, all of our channel function, right? 11 of those functions together into centers of excellence, brought leaders into play, people like Chris Jones, people like Ali Karani, people like JT, that know what good looks like in those roles and can drive that performance all the way through consistently on a worldwide basis. Richard Surenka, as you're going to hear about, doing it from a channel perspective, aligning channel account marketing, the territory managers, focusing them on value to you, not to us, right? And driving it by segment so that you have the right attributes of go-to-market and expertise from an SE standpoint, from a sales perspective in the specific market you're going after, whether it's small offices and doctor environments, all the way up to the largest environments in the world with contacts in Brazil, for example. And then aligning world-class operations, really making it easy to do business with us, through us, for your customers. And you'll hear about that a lot, and that I think is the biggest thing for us to change and continue to adapt, but I think we've come a long way today, even in the last year, in developing new systems, one touch, creating much more streamlined quoting ability, management of distribution, management of the product set, getting things aligned to you. And some of the numbers that I showed you earlier are attributed to that. Right? And you do things more efficiently for your partners in numbers. It reflects through your own checklist. So you'll see how our transformation over the next few days has shown, basically our company, everything in our company that touches our business, every aspect of our business, we've changed, right? What we offer our customers is changed. Our product sets are different, they're evolved. There's new value propositions across them. How we go to market in each one of these segments, that has changed, continues to change. Always in a support model, always in value to the customer through the partner. Where and how we do business has changed. How we're using our own technology to improve the productivity and efficiency of our own people as we support. We'll be talking about some of the service models that we've put into place, but we've moved from call centers ourselves to experience centers and web-centric help to our service organization. And we now provide 80% of our services online in a self-help fashion. And our Net Promoter Score, as you saw, is continuing to go up. So the customer experience is driving it, is driven up. The value of it, we're being told, is higher. Doing things in a way a customer wants to be supported, or a partner wants to be supported, and we're improving that on a daily basis to make it easier for you to do business with us and then through us out to your customer base. As we did that, our core beliefs remain fundamental. There's a couple here I wanted to touch on. I've talked about focusing on outcomes versus just focusing on effort. One of my old bosses used to say, don't confuse hard work with the results. And I think the results are the outcome we drive for a specific customer base. How do we drive value for our customers, for our partners, and their customers as we go into our route to market? And really trying hard is cutting it. Right? It's not about effort, it's about outcome. The most important line, I think, on this slide here is about building to the future. I meet a lot of people that just wish things could go back to the way they were. And they won't. Not because of our choice. Things have changed. The market's changed, go-to-market's changed, the products and the sets of solutions that customers are buying have changed. And unless you determine in your business models how you drive value through those new elements and you drive an outcome that's very different, you're not going to be successful. So a lot of what we're going to try to make sure you take away over the next few days is how those changes and moving to the future are going to make you more successful as you work with us and through us out to our common customer base. And the reward is really commensurate to the value added to that customer. Well, value-based selling, I call it outcomes. What we need to learn to do this is really the value proposition of our entire construct, our entire stack. The product sets, and what we talk about in terms of quality, the product sets we bring together, aren't just a set of things that look in a catalog and then look there like they're attached. Everything that our engineering teams are going to talk to you about in the next day or two, whether they're Mark Monday, Troy Trenchard, that Brett's going to talk to you about, is not how a distinct product, a new phone, a piece of software is better than the competition. It's about how all of these elements come together into a construct that drives a solution set, including partner applications, partner development, new software pieces, bringing those pieces together into a construct, into a single stack value, and then driving that as a value proposition and solution out to our customer base. Bringing world-class contact center, UC, integrated networking, integrated video solutions out to our partners, and then out to our customer base. That's what the transformation is all about. How our solutions also leverage big data and analytics, how our solutions enable multimedia capabilities, how they enable performance. That's what it's about. Not about the cost of the phone. UC is no longer IP telephony. Okay? That's white. And if you're in that business and that's what you manage, or digital telephony on a PBX play and sweat the asset kind of world, you're going to see your margins drop in your business code. If you drive towards high-value solution sets, the integration of UC and CC applications, the convergence, we talk about those in terms that are outcomes to a customer, the business will go up, the margin will drive high, and that's where you'll get to in terms of your own transformation. And you'll hear about from JT and others here why customers are really excited about our network solution sets, about what we call Fabric Connect, and the next generation networking capabilities that provides. So a lot of new talent. I put the pictures up here. This is directly from their arrest sheets to us out of the FBI in the United States. Some of them more than others. Look at JT. But this is the team that we've assembled. I think it's a world-class team. I've had the opportunity to bring together a group of people from very, very diverse backgrounds. Luckily, a lot of them that have worked together before in different places come together as one team. I've never seen a team come together this quickly in a world-class fashion, operate and cooperate and collaborate so effectively. Really, we're one family, and we are at your service. This is your team. This is Global Field Operations. And it's a little box at the bottom that says theater sales. This is the 6 operating theaters. Everybody on there is new, except for Mike Muller of Asia Pac and Michael Byer, but in fact they're in new roles. So Mike Muller joined about a year ago. The others are pretty new through it. Michael Byer joined 4 or 5 years ago, but is now leading what we call the global growth markets, or emerging companies. I don't call them emerging because they're not emerging really, but they're growing at a much faster rate and require a different set of investments and partnerships than some of the traditional markets. And some pretty impressive people, ex-Cisco, ex-EMC, ex-applications, startups, a lot of good friends, a lot of people that are really going to work. And the reason I'm putting it up here is that these are the people that lead the sales teams in your respective geographies. So get to know them. A lot of them, if not most of them, are here. And if they're not, I'll make a point of introducing them to you in your specific theater. So let's talk about business priorities. How do we align our business priorities to achieve the goals that I've been talking about? A lot of the goals are pretty strong and far-fetched. So how do I align all our business priorities together? And this is a picture representation of, that I showed to my board of directors of our 6 business priorities. I'd like to go through them pretty quickly, but just give you an idea of how each one of them plays in terms of our transformation model and our strategy and business transformation. If I look at coverage first, coverage matters. Why? Because we simply need to increase the number of customers that we touch, the number of customers that we interface with on a daily basis to grow our business. We don't even need the economy to recover. We cover, on average, worldwide, about 40% of the available customer base. Why? Because of capacity. People go to the low-hanging fruit. We've scaled that over the last 6 to 12 months in coverage to about 49, almost 50% now, but that's 50% of the market still there to be acquired. Increasing coverage by 1 or 2% for us is hundreds of millions of dollars. If you look at the average contract, whether it's in the low-end segments in mid-market, in commercial, or whether it's in the high-end in the enterprise, it's a pretty dramatic improvement in your business just by applying resource and coverage from partners and then support the partners with our go-to-market. So improving our capacity, improving our capabilities, and improving the level of activities in each of the market segments, not just in enterprise motion, but in commercial as well as in the global. That's what it's about in terms of coverage. This has already driven a lot of the performance that I've shown you on the chart that showed some of the numbers. Market segmentation. If I talk about the 3 attributes to my board that I care about, leadership first, and I showed you who the leaders are, building strong leaders with capacity to hire and bring people in that are world-class and that adapt to the changes in the market. Second is coverage, and the third really is this one, market segmentation. Different strokes for different folks. You can't go to market with one model to every company in the world. I showed you several verticals. They all are distinguished by variable characteristics that are application-driven and use case-driven. They all buy differently. They need different partnerships, different integration capabilities, different software integration capabilities, different routes to market. That's what you provide. The more you diversify, the more we align to different market segments, the better we are together. It permits us to capitalize on high growth potential segments. Commercial, mid-market, growing faster than enterprise. Enterprise, big numbers, growing low, but still very important markets. It means getting back in the game with the service providers, an area that we've neglected dramatically over the last several years. Service providers are the largest partners in some instances, but they're also providers of communication services on the outside. And a lot of you have service providers as customers or as partners in your routes to market. We need to provide you with new ways of going to market, OpEx to CapEx driven, CapEx to OpEx driven, cloud-based, services-based opportunities for us to collaborate, and we need to be a much bigger player in that segment as well. And we need to leverage you, our partners, as a force multiplier in a much more effective way. We need to grow our business plans with you. Our partners are important in this play. It's not a play we can get to on our own or even desire to get to on our own. And Richard's going to talk about that a lot. And I hope that point gets across. You matter in this exercise more than any other variable. And we have to make it easy for you to do business with us. In terms of portfolio, I talked about selling the full stack, understanding the attributes of our product and technology, how everything is virtualized, how things come together. You're going to get a lot of presentations on that. I'm not going to go too far into it. But I can tell you that from a business transformation standpoint, we talk about attach rates. If I can increase the attach rates of application on every transaction, networking on every transaction, video on every transaction, as you do with your services that you tie into every transaction, attach rates matter. I can grow the construct of a single sale dramatically without having to deal with another customer within the same customer by adding value through a broader construct rather than just selling a PBX or a bunch of phones. Right? Increase the breadth of the construct. In commercial, it means taking IP Office, driving a UC video strategy into it, driving endpoints that are more evolved, adapted to BYOD, driving contact center technology now with 9.0. And you'll hear a lot about that here from several of the presenters. Leveraging cloud, capturing the momentum, even at smaller levels of this shift from CapEx to OpEx. exploiting networking and attaching data and networking capabilities as we have associated with several customers, and exploiting that market technology leadership that we have in Fabric Connect and tying it into your construct, the role of the construct. Now, I did want to add also strategic marketing, but I thought it'd be a great opportunity for me to bring up our new Chief Marketing Officer that you saw up there, Mark Wilson. Mark, let's come over and join us. So at Avaya, marketing is a strategic partner. Okay? A lot of companies, marketing sits on the side and does stuff. Mark doesn't just sit on the side and do stuff. Mark sits right up front, coaches. So we have